Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Preschool All-Stars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and I am rejoined today in an update episode by Anita Gerber. How are you today, Anita?
Good. Thank you.
We are super excited to hear about the last 10 months of your life, because last time I talked to you, it was 10 months ago.
Yeah.
Let's see, real quick, if they missed it, what was going on 10 months ago? Where were you at?
Okay, so I started my preschool, I don't even remember, 7.5 years ago. And so 10 months ago, I told you about, so I started it in my home, and then we bought a building. And then in December of 2019, before the pandemic, and then March 2020 happened and everything shut down. And we had planned on moving over there, which we did. We remodeled, we moved over there. And I think I was very positive. I was like, yeah, everything's great. But man, it was kind of a rough year. And we were running at like half capacity just because people were, not sure if they wanted to enroll their kids in preschool, in local preschool, and so we survived that year. We did okay, and here we are like a year later. And so we have 2 different classrooms. We have the ability to do 4 different sessions in each classroom a week. So
wow, nice.
That's what we were doing last year. We were at half. So we did 4 different sessions. In January, we opened up another class because I thought, well, maybe some people are warming up to getting started, and having their kids go, especially some families who were nervous, but then they were like, oh, my child is going to start kindergarten this year. I got to get them into preschool. And so we actually were able to fill another class in January. Nice. And so we ended the year with 5 classes of 12 kids each. And
nice.
Then, And then but this year it was like gangbusters. Like we filled every single class of 8 classes. And so we're at max capacity now. And
yeah. Wow. Wait, 8 classrooms? How many classrooms? Still 2 classrooms?
2 classrooms.
Okay.
We have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning and afternoon, and then a Tuesday, Thursday morning and afternoon. So,
okay, in each one. Perfect. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So that you're at max capacity, and do you have a wait list?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So what changed? What were some of the factors that I mean, there's a lot that changed, but what changed that really for you guys?
Honestly, there's so many things, so many unknowns at this point, I don't know if necessarily like people were like, okay, we are ready to move on, after the pandemic. I think people were like, I'm ready to get my child enrolled. I don't know if our reputation got out because we had been in the building by then for a whole year. And so we have signage, which at my house, we didn't have signage on the outside of the building. So as people drove by, they were like, oh, there's this preschool. And we are really close to an elementary school too, as well. So nice. I got lots of those families who are like, oh, we just live a block over. We drove by and now we know you're here. And so we got
childless for a few hours. All my kids gone. Yeah.
Yep. And so it's interesting because I don't know. And I've had lots of different thoughts. Like, is it our reputation is getting out? Because I work really hard to make sure we are like above and beyond, and we over deliver and do all of the things that Joy tells you to do, and but it's also hard to know if the government has started giving people money for, monthly, tax rebate or not rebate, the tax, what's it called?
Advancement.
The child, the child tax credit. Yeah. And so it's hard to know if is that helping as well. So many different
a combination of all of them. Working out, it doesn't matter because it's working out.
It is.
Yeah. So are you guys okay? Well, geez. So you pretty much doubled in the year.
Yes.
Okay.
So from the beginning of last year to the beginning of this school year, we did double. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me your role right now. Are you teaching? Are you just directing? What are you doing?
So I am still teaching and
okay.
And
is that by choice or because you have to right now?
It kind of is by choice.
Okay.
Like, I love being a teacher.
Totally.
But this year is like so a little bit overwhelming that I'm like,
yeah, because you got a bunch of
people.
people now. You got a bunch of admin, you got a bunch of stuff. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so I need to increase my prices too. So
Okay.
I think a little bit is out of choice, but also out of necessity.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's hard for me to give up the teaching aspect because I'm a teacher, you know.
Totally. I know
I
it.
love it.
I
Yeah.
know it. Ooh, it's hard to be out of the classroom. It really is. It really is.
Yes.
I mean, it's great at the same time
Yeah.
because especially right now, but I think like, I don't know, once the baby's a little bigger, I would like to like go, twice a week, just have my own class, 2 days a
Mhm.
week, even just one class, for 2 days
Right.
a week. I think that would be
Yeah.
enough to scratch the itch while I had all the other roles going on, but it
Right.
is, you do want, you're there for the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually thought about it for next year. I will probably just go down to one class. I still want to be kind of in it.
Yes. Yeah.
Like when you sub, like I right now I'm subbing for long term for one of my teachers. She just barely had a baby in September.
Okay.
And so it's nice to have already a lesson plan for my own classes to just be like, okay, I'm just going to do what I'm doing,
Mhm.
So if I didn't have any classes, then I think it would be a little bit not as easy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah, totally.
but I have like some of the dilemma that I do have is there's some procedural things that I need to make sure my teachers do.
Yes.
And right now it's hard because I am stuck in the classroom. And so when I see different things or hear about different things that are not working, for example, like drop off and pick up, because I haven't been out there the whole time, like making sure at the beginning of the year that it is, a set in place, the procedure, then I find out later that kids aren't doing what I need them to be doing. And then, and it's not necessarily my teacher's fault. I just haven't been
gotten
there.
the opportunity to evaluate what's going on and realize it's not working. Yeah, totally.
And train her really,
Mhm.
I observed something today that I thought, I need to fix that, but I can't fix that really easily.
Oh,
I'm
I know
teaching
exactly what you mean. I was just talking to my husband about this, and I mean, it's just me and the one other teacher, and it's mostly her because I've been out of the classroom, but I find it really hard. How long have you had employees now?
Okay, so last year when we were at half capacity, I just had 2 teachers. This year I now have 5 plus me, so we're 6, all together. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I've only had an employee for like 6 months, and I find it very hard, especially now. My first one was younger than me. This one is a lot older than me. And so like and she has more teaching experience, like different kinds of, in the classroom, whether it's daycare, whether it's assistant teacher, whatever, experience, like more years than me. She's a lot older than me. And she like puts in so much work and I love that. And there's so many great things that I really love, but there's just like a couple things, like sometimes like some of the things she says to the students, or we were just talking, there's like a couple, like 2 really hard students. And it's like, I feel like she's struggling to give them a new opportunity every day. I always say like, you got to give the kids a clean slate every day, like, and it's really hard to do that as a teacher. Cause the really hard students really great on you and you gotta, all right, today's a new day and we're, but then you kind of, I don't think she's realizing that she's, kind of holding on to it and maybe not giving the kids as much grace as she should, I guess,
Right. Yeah.
But I find it hard to address that. I don't know if it's just an age thing. Also, like I'm figuring out how to be a boss and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to do you have advice for a newbie?
I struggle the same. It's hard to because it's a new role for me, like to step into like this is what you need to do.
Yes.
Without hurting feelings, because really my teachers are wonderful. They really are. They do put in so much extra time, even, and I can tell that they care so very much. And so it is really hard for me to be like, okay, we need to correct this.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not a bad person.
Right,
No.
exactly. And I think you're great at your job. Like you're a great teacher
Yeah.
there, you know?
Mhm.
And oh man, I was just listening to Joy's podcast with Vanessa from Pre-K
Yeah.
Pages.
Yeah.
And it really hit home. That's what got me thinking about it, because a lot of her methods are like old school, you know, like she wanted to do a letter a week, you know, and I
Yeah.
was able to kind of talk her out of that, but it
Yeah.
took a little, you know, showed her some research, you know, and her heart's in the right place, you know, she's just been doing this
Right.
for so long, you know. And with my
Yeah.
first employee, it was a lot easier. She was very combative. Like when I brought up anything, like I tried to be very positive about it. And, you know, I'd say,
Right.
do you need more support? And, you know, but automatically it was like defense. She went on the defense. So that made
Right.
it like, but it made it easier to like, I don't know, be like, oh, girl, that's her. Like, I'm not happy with her, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas her, like my new one, I'm like, I love her so much and she's great. And I've learned a lot from her.
Right.
And so it's harder because I really like her.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh man.
But
I'm listening to a lot of Brene Brown though. I don't know
yeah.
if do you know her?
Yeah. Love
Yeah,
her. Yeah.
like I just listened to her Daring Leadership podcast and really great. And I'm like trying to implement that stuff and
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Being the one in charge is
Mm-hmm.
not easy. And also, you know, when parents, because now I kept thinking, I just got to make it through last year. Like, I just got to make it through COVID. I just got to make it through.
Yes.
And then I used to have this year, and I just had a mom call me yesterday, and she like is telling me what to do. And you need to send all the parents a reminder to don't bring their kids to school sick, and make sure your teachers are sending the kids home if they're sick. And I tried my best to be very like, okay, yep, we're doing that, and we're trying the best we can, and this is what we do, and this is our policy. And finally, I just was like, we are doing this. Our withdrawal policy is 30 days. So if you want to withdraw, that's fine.
Totally.
I don't know, like it's hard to run it
all of that. Yeah, there's so many people's feelings that you have to take into account.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard. It's definitely hard.
But it's all good.
It is. You know what I find funny? I do the same thing. I'm constantly like, it'll be easier when this. Okay. It'll be easier when I'm open, at least when I'm open. Okay. It'll be easier when, you know, when COVID, like it'll be easier when I have a teacher to teach in there. It'll be easier when that, and I'm like constantly chasing that it'll be easier. But then there's a fine line because like once something gets easy, I feel like if you do this business, if you like start a business like this, then you're like motivated to build more, you know? And as I was listening to one of Joy's lives, when she was really like sharing her heart about, you know, she's built this amazing thing and it's taking away time from her family, you know, and like, that's the constant struggle. That's what we're all in this for our family. And then as soon as we're like, okay, I'm at a good level, we're like, wow, I'm at a great level. I can grow, you know, and then you jump right in.
I listened to Joy, the same thing. And I was like, oh, it is the dream chaser mindset. Like it's always like the next thing, you know, and I do the same thing.
Yeah. It's hard not to. And I'm really trying right now to put the brakes on things and just enjoy because I've been looking forward to this time for so long. And I so easily get stressed out with all the other things that I like put on my plate. I put on my own plate, you know, like,
yes.
If I didn't put all the things on my own plate, then I could relax like I want to, you know? So I'm going to try, I'm trying to stop, but it's hard.
I know that I told my husband the same thing. I'm so stressed out sometimes, but I chose all of this.
Yeah.
Like, I chose it all.
Yeah. And I love the choice I made, you know, like, so let me just enjoy it for a little bit because it has to be to a point where like, we have enough money now, you know, like for right now, like we're comfortable and I don't need, you know, we're still paying stuff off and we're still doing this, but like, we need to find a balance between money and free time and stress and relaxation and relaxing meaningfully so we can recharge ourselves. Brene Brown.
Right. Yeah. But it's true. I do feel like always there's something more I need to do, or something more that I could do, or I don't know. Yeah. I feel that constant struggle as well.
Yeah. I feel like society kind of pushes us to do that,
Right.
like the glorification of busyness, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
And I definitely struggle with that. And I like see that in my dad, he was the same way. He was the same exact way. And so I feel like we kind of pass it on. That's another thing. I don't want to pass it on to
Right.
little baby.
Right. Yeah.
But it's also funny because like my husband usually isn't as busy, and he was talking about getting like, he's like, yeah, they asked me like what my next step at work would be. And honestly, the next step would be this position. He's like, and I don't even know if I want to take it because I'm just enjoying right now, like this pretty cake gig where I can like have a snuggle nap with my new baby in the middle of the day, like, and I love that when he says it like that, but like when I'm so busy and I walk upstairs and he's having a snuggle nap with the baby and I'm like, and I'm like, must be nice, and I'm like, no, why am I like that? Like, I should let him, like let him enjoy all the things that like he's not piling them on his plate, that's great. Don't pile them on your plate. And Bethany, don't get mad when you've piled your plate and he hasn't, and he can enjoy the fruit of an empty plate.
I am the same.
I'm so glad, because sometimes I feel like once I realize, like I recycle back and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. Then I feel really bad. So
right.
God, we can feel that way together.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, gosh, after this conversation, I don't even want to ask you this, but I also do a little bit. Do you have any next plans or yes? Okay, there we go. Because
so my city is growing a ton, right? Okay. So I have all of these ideas and these things. Now, I think, we're going to keep going the way we're going, and I will raise tuition because I do feel like our reputation is getting out there and we are, a really great preschool that lots of people want. So, but I do think in the future, possibly, and of course it all depends on, because, there's the whole, they want to, do preschool or give preschool public preschool, yep. So it'll all have lots of different variables, but an idea that I have is eventually so in our building, we have the downstairs and we have 2 different classrooms, but we have an upstairs that is like a big giant multi-purpose room, and it has this big open area, and it's the same square footage as the downstairs, but it's all open. And so there's like a dance studio, almost like there's mirrors on the wall.
Oh, awesome. Love me a good dance studio.
Yeah. But so there's these 2 huge bathrooms. I don't know why they're so big up there, but and then an office, and it's my office, but really it's like nothing. Like I never sit there. I never go in there. Anyway, so I was like,
never sitting down.
Yeah. So in the future, my vision, if this is where, and it's nice because I've now implemented on my website, I have like a pre-registration form, and I have it like 3-4 years out, so like as soon as their child's born they can put their name on the pre-registration form. I know,
are people doing that? Have you had that?
They're totally doing it. Like I have one for next year that I have a list of names on, and then I have the one for the next year after, but I don't have any for like the 3 and the 4 year. I know
you got it going on.
But it helps me know like my numbers, like if I'm starting to fill up by like, November, December of the year before, we open up registration usually in January. So I'll make phone calls and call all those people in January. But as years go on, and as our city grows, because we have one subdivision over here that's going to have like 200 more homes, and we have another subdivision over here that's going to have 300 more homes. And anyway, so like as we grow, like if there is a need, then the thought is we could remodel the upstairs of the preschool, and I could turn it into one more classroom, and then just have a smaller multi-purpose room, because I really love having that. We get snow here in the winter.
Oh, yeah, that's so
it's nice to have a place to go upstairs where the kids can just run around. So we would just make it a little bit smaller. We would chop up those bathrooms and make a really small bathroom, and then have a classroom up there, and yeah. So. And
I can't believe you have unborn babies on your wait list. This is crazy. Wait, so do you also have the parents of your like current families fill out forms like for very far in advance?
Yeah. So what we do is we always open it up to our current families first. So in January, the beginning of January, I put a notice out and I say, okay, we're going to open up, and I kind of give them an incentive to like re-enroll for the next year, or like if they have a younger sibling, to enroll that sibling. And then after that, I say, okay, I'm going to be calling the pre-registration list, and that's when I'll get those people officially registered for the next year. So if you want the class you want, the time you want, you got to tell me by January 15th.
Yeah.
And then I go on from there. So that's kind of how I work it out that way. And families come back. So that's always the goal, right? So,
but I know whenever a family comes and they're like, oh, we have a 1-year-old too, and we're enrolling our 3-year-old. I'm like, perfect. Exactly. And I'm now getting the second round. So it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. Yep. So there's some opportunity to grow if that's it. But again, it's the same thing. Like, I'm like, okay, Anita, calm down, just enjoy the time right now. You just barely got full. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Okay. Here's another thing that I wanted to ask if you thought about, because this just happened to me. The Better Business Bureau. Are you accredited with them?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I never thought about it in my life. Like, I'm not the kind of person to call the Better Business Bureau and ask like, is this business accredited before I give it my business? Never done that in my life. But I had the Better Business Bureau call me, and they sent me a message, and then I freaked out because I'm like, did someone like report me or something? Right. And then she's like, no, it's a good call. It's a good call. We've been getting calls about your program, and we wanted to offer you, after looking into everything. And she was a mom, and she had a 5-year-old. So we had a great talk about social emotional learning in the time of a pandemic, and she was loving me. And she's like, man, I wish I would have had some place like this, last year. I wish I would have known. And then she like pushed my stuff up to accreditation. And she's like, we looked at your licensing, and we looked at all of your reviews, and you have 0 bad reviews. And we loved what we saw in your program and all this stuff. And so now, because I'm accredited, they give you like a 4 to 6 minute free interview, like promo vid that they shoot.
Oh, wow.
And then you're on their website listed as accredited, and you can you get to use their logo in all of your stuff, which I don't know do people care about the Better Business Bureau? I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, you can't, anything positive is good, right?
Right. Yeah. That's what I figure. And get this, there's only 6 accredited daycare or preschool childcare in all of Southern Nevada.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, how is that even possible? But then I remember that when I was doing my research about all the different preschools, there's like tons of like chains and like big preschool daycares, and they all have terrible reviews, like really bad reviews, so I have like great reviews. And so I'm guessing all those reviews, there's got to be complaints to licensing, and that's how they like, if you have complaints and if you have all this stuff. So I was like, wow. So now I can advertise like we're 6, one of 6 accredited preschools in all of, and that looks really good. So I feel like I want to put a shout out to the All-Stars and be like, why not get accredited?
Right. For sure.
Yeah. Cause I'm still waiting to shoot that promo vid, but I mean, good. Any press is good press. That's not true. This is good press though.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I just talked your ear off. It was nice talking to you again.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm so excited to hear about all your awesome stuff, man. Doubling your enrollment in a year. That's just awesome. And I mean, you have like not even humans yet on your wait list yet. So that's pretty cool. I think you're set for at least a few years. At least 4 years.
Hopefully. As long as we can get those good reviews.
Yes, get those reviews. All right. Yes. Then thank you so much. I can't wait to check in with you next year and see where you are.
For sure. Thank you, Bethany.
Thank you.
If you loved today's episode, then you are going to love this. I want to give you a free gift in your hands. This is a copy of my book, Start Your Preschool, and I want to get it to you for for free. Yes, I said for free. It is a 300-page book. It'll help you learn the step-by-step process to actually starting your local or your online preschool. Every single step that I walked myself through, as well as the thousands of women who've created their own successful preschools, have gone through the exact steps listed in this book. Not to mention, I also share 20 amazing women's stories. So you can see how not only did it work for me, but it works for amazing women just like you as well. I want to get you this free copy. Just go to freepreschoolbook.com or click the link in the description and we'll get it to you today. Again, just go to freepreschoolbook.com and we'll get it right to you.